Hi friends, very warm welcome to all of you at our conceptual brainstorm integrated session for anatomy questions. Right now in this session we are going to look the questions asked in anatomy in our December FMG 2021, and not only we will do the question answer discussion, but we will do analysis also, how we have to prepare for the next upcoming exams. And before starting the discussion, I want to thank to all dear students and our friends who help us for recalling the question. Yes, I want to mention again that there may be the plus minus in the question words, question pattern, images, but this session is just for your help. Any kind of the modification, please comment us so that we can modify according to the pattern. So this is the session on the basis of the recall. First of all, we are going to look the general anatomy. So we are doing analysis also. We have to study the general anatomy, yes or no? Just try to answer. Just try to understand with this question. Yes. December FMG 2021 question was asked by giving one radiological image. So radiology integration, our exam pattern is shifting with our integration. They are putting the image of the radiology but asking about the anatomy question. This is the our integration. Question is, at marked arrow which type of joint is shown? Already in our previous session I told that joint is important topic, and one question is asked. No need to read the general anatomy, but for basic concept and the knowledge, it is essential. And few topics are there which are always asked. So question was again asked from the joint. It was not unexpected. It was expected. Okay. So this is showing over the our pubic symphysis area, and it is asking, it is saddle synovial joint or secondary cartilaginous, primary cartilaginous or ellipsoid joint. Now try to do analysis. If you are aware about the FMG exam 2020 pattern, then same question was asked. If you will say, sir, this was the new question, no, never. It was not the new question. The same question was asked by putting the cadaveric image, osteology image, our images from the different anatomy textbook atlas. Same question they asked. FMG 2020, identify the type of the joint marked by arrow in image. Okay. And in our previous video, just before this, we uploaded the video and complete description for it. And we had seen there are the three types of the joint. Yes, fibrous, cartilaginous, and the synovial. Go for that video. What is the joint? The junction between two bones. These joint may be either the immovable or semi-movable or freely movable. And in that video, we had seen the classification. Yes, these are our fibrous, cartilaginous, and synovial joint. Fibrous joint we learned with the mnemonic SSG. Okay, Sasuji, Sasurji. It was our trick. Okay, S for sutures, S for syndesmosis, and G for gomphosis. Cartilaginous we had seen when there is the cartilage in between the two bones, primary cartilaginous, also known as synochondrosis, and secondary cartilaginous, also known as the symphysis. Because we discussed just in our previous video, so I'm not telling in detail, just putting that flow chart which we discussed. Okay, synovial we know very well that ball and socket, saddle, condylar, ellipsoid, hinge, pivot, and plane. Fine. So in this radiological image, again, try to understand. You can easily observe the different structures. Yes, here is the our ileum, and you can observe the ischial tuberosity, ischium. This is the shadow of the our ischium, and you can see this portion is our pubic bone, pubic symphysis. So two pubic bone, they are articulating, both are meeting together at the midline. This is our, yes, pubic symphysis. This is our symphysis joint. And I told you that symphysis joint is the classical example of secondary cartilaginous joint. Okay. And try to recall, before few session back, they pointed over this point and they asked the name of this structure, that was our anterior superior iliac spine. This all are our question. So this question pattern is very repeated pattern. So definitely answer in our previous question, previous FMG 2020, as well as in recent pattern, answer is secondary cartilaginous joint. Okay, fine. So go for our previous video, you can get that point, but we are doing analysis. This is not the new question pattern. If you are solving the previous 10-year question bank, if you are solving the previous 5-year question bank at least, then definitely you can crack more than 80% questions. Yes, 20% they will be unexpected. But when you are cracking the 80% question, definitely you can get easily the 50 or 60% marks. And remember, you have to handle in the same manner a smart study for each subject. Fine. So we are doing analysis for the further. Here is the one table. The difference between the synochondrosis and the symphysis, that is our primary and secondary cartilaginous joint. Go for the previous video, but here we are adding more things. Synochondrosis, it is articular cartilage. See here, this is our diaphysis, and here you can see the epiphysis. So between the diaphysis and the epiphysis, you can see the fibrous joint. Yes, this is our synochondrosis. Also, you can say primary cartilaginous joint. There is no movement, so it is immovable. Yes, it is temporary because later it ossifies, and the cartilages, yes, same point. Cartilage, they are ossified after a period of growth. Then it is presenting at the growth end of the bone. So there is a active growth in this area. Example is given that it is between epiphysis and diaphysis. And in the same way, secondary or symphysis joint, like pubic symphysis, there is the hyaline cartilage, but in between them there is a layer of the fibrocartilage. There is the small movement there, usually permanent, and they are not ossified. They are present in the midline of the body. This is very important. Whatever the structure in the midline, again, with the proper three-dimensional orientation, you can get what are the different midline joint. See here, beautifully you can see the vertebra. In between the vertebra, there is an intervertebral disc. So this joint between the two vertebra, that is our symphysis variety. Also, you can see the pubic symphysis. Can you see this three-dimensional orientation in between the two bones? Yes, same question was asked. Okay, this is the pubic bone, and in between you can see the fibrous ligament, which is joining the hyaline cartilage of these two bones. So this is our pubic symphysis, example of secondary cartilaginous. Fine. For more detail, you can go at our previous videos. Now we are going to talk about the next question from the general anatomy. So we cannot ignore totally the general anatomy question. Question is, frontal plane section is termed as. So do you remember in our earliest video I told you that there are the few section, the plane which is dividing the body into the two equal halves. I am showing you the image here. Yes, the plane which is dividing the body into the two equal half, right and left, that is mid-sagittal plane. Any plane which is parallel to the mid-sagittal plane, that is sagittal plane. And can you see the frontal plane, the plane which is dividing the body into the front and the back, into the anterior and the posterior part, that is our frontal plane. Also, you can say this is our coronal plane. Okay, and the plane which is parallel to the ground, that is our horizontal plane. Any plane which is dividing the body with making an angle with our ground, that is oblique plane. Okay, so you can see here frontal plane section is termed as. So definitely frontal plane section which is dividing the body into the front and the back, that is our coronal plane. So here is your answer. Means in this December FMG 2021, two questions asked from our general anatomy portion. Okay, now we are going to make the question answer discussion as well as our analysis from the upper limb portion. Fine, but before that, so whatever the our next FMG question, exam is going to be held, okay, in 2022, at least one general anatomy question will be asked, and very high probability from the joint. Okay, So this is our just one guessing. In next FMG 2020, the very important topic will be joint. So we have to prepare for it. Okay. Now come to the our next upper limb. So from the upper limb, this question has been asked. Okay. Maybe image, maybe the words, maybe the option vary, but approximately this question was there. Any kind of modification, you can say us at the comment box. So you can see here, a patient was undergoing leprosy treatment. So first clue in question, leprosy treatment. It is asking about the disease for the medicine. Also, you can say your skin portion. Also, you can say pathology, microbiology. Next, on a follow-up checkup, the patient presented with the following presentation. So here is a presentation, image-based question pattern. Now question, which nerve is involved? So they are integrating the micro, patho, community medicine to the nerve means anatomy. Okay. So you can see classically the patient is presenting with the yes, medial two fingers, they are in the claw position. Yes, not the complete hand, but medial two fingers, they are adopting the claw position. So this is our partial claw hand. You can see easily. Yes. So this is our partial. Also you can say ulnar side clawing. So partial claw hand. Also you can say ulnar claw hand. Okay. So this ulnar claw hand occurs due to the ulnar nerve damage. Very easy question. Fine. Let's guess. This question pattern is unexpected or expected if you are focusing for the FMG 2020 question. Again, one question based on the nose, it has been asked. Okay. Question was, road traffic accident was there. 35-year-old male was there. Emergency with the fracture at the arrow mark. So there was a fracture at the our shaft of the humerus. Okay. And on examination, there is a loss of sensation of dorsum of the lateral aspect. On the hand, on the dorsal side, there is a loss of sensation. Which nerve was injured in this case? And our answer was radial nerve. Why? In our previous video, we had seen the different nerves related to the our humerus. Okay. See here, axillary nerve, it is situated at neck of humerus. In a more better way, you can say surgical neck of humerus. Okay. Next, radial nerve, it is situated in radial groove. Where? At shaft. You can see that ulnar nerve, it is situated where? Behind medial epicondyle. Now integrate this all the facts with our ortho. So there is a chances of the fracture of the neck of humerus. There is a chances of the fracture of shaft of the radius. There is a chances of the fracture of the medial epicondyle. So in that situation, the related nerve, axillary nerve, yes, ortho, our radial nerve and ulnar nerve can be damaged. Also remember the median nerve, it is situated, it is running from the supracondylar part. So median nerve can get damage in supracondylar fracture. Fine. So these are the different points. Okay. So if any person is coming with the fracture at the shaft of the humerus, radial nerve is getting damaged. Simple. Otherwise, dermatome option was also given at the back of the hand. There is a damage to the radial nerve. There is a damage to there is a loss of sensation on the lateral 2.5 of the dorsum of the hand. Again, it is the area by the radial nerve. Means this humerus, the relation with the nerves in the arm, and what are the different injury, that all are your frequently asked question pattern. So there is the no kind of the surprise for such kind of a question. It was expected question. It is very easy question. Fine. So definitely your answer is ulnar nerve. Okay. And for our next upcoming exam, you have to study. Yes, we are guessing the question pattern for the our FMG 2022 joint. One topic we discussed, it is going to be asked 80% chances. And again, arm, nose, upper limb nose, better to say, one question from the upper limb nose as well as clinical. What you have to learn? Median nerve, radial nerve, ulnar nerve, as well as you can go for the axillary nerve. So this is our question pattern for the FMG 2022 next upcoming question. And always remember, whenever you are reading the ulnar nerve, median nerve in the hand, no excuse with the our lumbricals, short intrinsic muscles of the hand, okay, which are having the pain holding position. Also, I told you in our classes, Babaji ka Thullu position by the lumbricals. There is a first lumbrical, second lumbrical, third and fourth. And these are responsible for the pain holding position or Babaji ka Thullu position. That is flexion at metacarpophalangeal joint and extension at interphalangeal joint. So this is the position. If there is a damage to all the lumbricals, opposite of this, there is the extension at metacarpophalangeal joint and flexion at interphalangeal joint. So this is our complete claw hand. And I told you that first lumbrical, second lumbrical, third and fourth lumbrical, these are supplied by, yes, first and second by the median nerve, third and fourth by the ulnar nerve. Getting the point? So if both nerves are getting damaged, opposite of this pain holding position, occurs, what is that? This is our flexed condition. So there will be the extension, and here is the extension. So there will be the flexion. So what is this? This is our complete claw hand. When you are getting the median nerve and ulnar nerve both damaged. I'm just giving the quick review because we had discussed already in our previous classes. Okay, but if there is the ulnar nerve damage, especially in leprosy, the ulnar nerve is getting thickening and it is getting damaged. So ulnar nerve is getting damaged. So only the ulnar side, third and fourth lumbricals are affected. So these two fingers are normal, but these medial side two fingers, they are clawing position. Remember, this is our very important topic, lumbricals. Fine, you can get at our platform. Remember, these are our upcoming FMG 2022 questions. Next, come to here. This is unexpected question. It is not usually asked. You can say it is the question from the upper limb. You can say it is a question from the general anatomy. What is the role of the biceps muscle in flexion? Okay, so options are prime mover, synergist, C was antagonist, and D was fixator. So try to understand, this is the general anatomy question. Muscle activity. Okay, you can observe here, during the muscle activity, you can say agonist muscles, you can say antagonist muscle. Also there are the two categories, synergist and fixator. Try to understand this question pattern. It is unexpected. Very less such kind of questions are asked. Okay, so what is the prime mover? Suppose I am using the dumbbell, I am doing gym, so I am doing dumbbell. So which muscle is contracting? Answer is biceps. Also you can say brachialis, but suppose biceps. Okay, so biceps is showing flexion. So when the biceps is contracting, then flexion is possible. So remember, biceps is agonist, also as the prime mover. Here you can see the image. When it is contracting, then flexion will occur. This is our biceps. Okay, now try to understand the muscle which will help to this muscle. The muscle which is helping in the flexion, that will be synergist. So synergist, that is aiding the agonist. So brachialis is synergist to the biceps. Biceps is synergist to the brachialis. Also there is one muscle, brachioradialis, brachium to the radius. So they will help in flexion. So these are synergist. Antagonist, yes. Remember, antagonist which help in the movement by relaxation, or you can say which oppose the action. So during this flexion, remember there is a relaxation of the our backside muscle, triceps. So you can say triceps is antagonist. Also you can remember the triceps will oppose the flexion. When the triceps contract, it causes extension. But remember, antagonist also support the movement by relaxing. Okay, and then fixator, during this all kind of the movement, different muscles are there which are fixing the our shoulder joint, fixing the elbow joint. These muscles are fixator who are making stability of the different joint. Okay, so you can see this movement. Again, biceps, it is prime mover or agonist, and it is held by the brachioradialis during the flexion. Suppose you are picking the glass. Okay, also when you are cutting the biceps, then brachialis muscle is seen which is helping in this movement. So you can say it is synergist. Okay, while the brachioradialis, yes, it is also the synergist. While the triceps, it will be antagonist. So answer in this question is our, this biceps is prime mover, also you can say agonist. Getting the point? Fine. So this was one kind of the unexpected question, but not too much unexpected. It is even given in all the general anatomy handbooks, even BD Chaurasia's textbook. Okay. So you must know these four terms. Get ready for the FMG 2022 for this agonist, antagonist, fixator, and synergist topic. Okay. Now come to the our next lower limb. Okay. So we are going to do question answer discussion as well as analysis for here. Can you see? December FMG 2021, they asked the question which artery is palpated here, and in image you can see the hand here. Can you see this is our great toe? So definitely this is our medial side. So hand is put in, hand is, fingers are kept behind medial malleolus. Getting the point? Behind the medial malleolus. So definitely this is our posterior tibial artery. Why I am saying this is not the new question? Continuously 2019, then 2020, and this is 2021. Continuously hat trick this question is has been asked, and answer is posterior tibial artery. In FMG 2020, they asked the question, after an accident, 25-year-old male sustained injury in both the upper limbs. The clinician has to take the vitals of the patient. For measuring the pulse, he decides to approach posterior tibial artery at ankle. At what location will it be palpable? So they are giving the clinical scenario and asking for the palpation. And at that time, just in our previous video, we had discussed that answer is medial malleus and the medial border of the tendo calcaneus. This is the site for the posterior tibial artery. You can see here. Okay, this is our great toe, and here is the our medial malleus. So you will observe just behind the medial malleus, you can observe the our posterior tibial artery. Posterior tibial artery is palpable just behind the our medial malleolus. Getting the point? Now try to understand. This is not the new question pattern. This is the old question pattern. I am showing you with the three-dimensional orientation again. So this is the our foot leg portion. You can see tibia. You can see fibula. Fine. We are turning towards the medial malleolus. So just behind the medial malleolus, you can see the artery. Yes, the popliteal artery is coming and then dividing into the anteritibial and the posterior tibial. Fine. And then this posterior tibial artery is palpable behind our medial malleus. Okay. And in our previous session, I am showing you this was the question. Exactly, this was the discussion from our previous notes. We had drawn all the arteries of the lower limb. So go for that video, and where we are palpating that arteries we had seen. So this is not the new question pattern. This is the old question pattern. So you must know. Get ready for the next FMG 2022. Again, FMG 2022 topics. We are guessing that there is a high probability of the our posterior tibial artery or other palpable artery, which we discussed in our different classes. Okay, so I told you what are the question. General anatomy one question, joint especially, the lumbrical short intrinsic muscles, nerves of the upper limb, and another topic that is the arteries of the lower limb or palpable arteries, you can say. Now come to our next question. Identify the arrow marked structure bone. Yes, the arches of foot clinical importance is too much. Again, radiology integration with the anatomy. They are asking the simple question, but you have to identify. So there are the different bones. Try to observe. Okay, this is our first metatarsal. Then you can see the second, third, fourth, and fifth. Yes, these all are our metatarsal bone. Okay, in our classes we had drawn all the diagrams with proper concept, and these are articulating with the our cuneiform bone. So you can see here there is the medial, intermediate and lateral cuneiform. These cuneiforms are articulating with the navicular bone. So in this exam, they ask about the navicular bone, which is articulating with the our talus. And here on the lateral side, you can see there will be the our cuboid bone, and this is the shadow of the our calcaneum. Fine. So remember these things. Again, I am showing you the three-dimensional orientation for the our foot bones. Yes, you can see the foot. So can you see the largest bone of the foot, calcaneum? Over the calcaneum, there is a talus, and just in front of the talus, you can see navicular bone, which is articulating with the medial, intermediate, lateral cuneiform, and it is articulating with the first, second, third metatarsal. Yes, these are the bones participating in medial arch. I told you with proper orthopedics integration that arches of the foot is important, and the anatomy of the arches of foot, yes, that questions are always asked in anatomy or your orthopedics integrating to the different subject. And lateral side you can see the cuboid, which is articulating with the our fourth and fifth metatarsal, and further there are the phalanges, and phalanges never participate in arches of foot. And I given the example of the Guptill, our cricketer, New Zealand great batsman, who is not having the phalanges. After the World Cup, New Zealand and England final amazing one day cricket match, that news came that Guptill is not having the phalanges, but even he runs, jump, walk very nicely, very good cricketer. And this is not amazing. Our BD Chaurasi sir, our all the anatomy textbook, our Gray's Anatomy, all are saying phalanges never participate in arches of foot. So this topic is important. So remember the arches of foot, or for the anatomy purpose, you can add for the FMG 2022. What are the different questions? Definitely one topic we discussed, that is a joint, upper limb, nose, also mentioning the short intrinsic muscles of hand, especially the lumbricals. Sorry. Also there are the our different more questions, like right now we had seen arteries, palpable arteries, also arches of foot. For the ortho, for the anatomy, what you can remember, foot anatomy, special bone. Okay, so these are our expected question for the next session. Now this is the navicular bone. Yes, we had seen. We are going to look for the abdomen, question answer discussion as well as analysis. So there was the question in FMG December 2021, neurovascular bundle in abdomen runs in between. Always in our classes, I told you, every teacher will teach you the layers, 8 layers of the abdomen. We drawn the diagram beautifully, okay, during our classes, and we had seen the neurovascular bundle of the thorax as well as abdomen. These are running between second and third layer. So you must know that layers. And if you want to say, sir, this is the new question, no. Always I told you the 8 layers of the abdomen, they are very important. And applied portion, that is the inguinal hernia, always we discuss with proper integration to the surgery. In our FMG 2020, question has been asked, deep inguinal ring is found in, and answer was the fascia transversalis. So the same topic has been asked in a different way. Okay, and also see here, answer in this question, I am showing you the image. This is our abdominal wall. I told you with the proper 3-dimensional orientation and drawing the diagram. You can see here our abdomen. When we do dissection, then first layer is skin, then superficial fascia and deep fascia is absent. Then you will see the external oblique muscle. Can you see this is the external oblique muscle? When we are dissecting, then you can observe the internal muscle which is running obliquely. So this is the internal oblique muscle. and when you will dissect, then you will get one another muscle which is running transversely. So between the second and third layer, between our internal oblique and transversus abdominis muscle, you will see the bunch of the nerves. Another muscle which is seen here, that is rectus sheath. Yes, rectus abdominis muscle covered with the rectus sheath. Okay, so always these topics are asked. You can see in this image, there is our skin, then you can get superficial fascia, which is having the two layer, superficial fatty layer and deep membranous layer. Superficial fatty layer is also known as the Camper's fascia, while the deep membranous layer is known as the Scarpa's fascia. Okay, and another muscle, that is the external oblique, then you will see internal oblique, then you will see transversus abdominis. So you can observe beautifully that bunch of the nerve is running between our second and third layer, then coming to become the cutaneous. So it is running between internal oblique and transversus abdominis. So answer is our C, between internal oblique and transversus abdominis. Hope you are getting the point. Okay, now try to understand. In December FMG 2021, again question has been asked from the topic. Okay, a patient presented with the hernia. Content is spermatic cord which is passing through the external oblique muscle. Which type of hernia is it? Again, this is the topic with the anterior abdominal wall. Fine, so go for our video. I am showing you here. Whenever you will see the muscles of the anterior abdominal wall, I shown many times with the proper funny way, Hrithik Roshan or Tiger Shroff body and all the lines of the anterior abdominal wall. So go for our videos and how to show the different layers in a simple way. We drawn each layer step by step. We drawn the inguinal ligament, inguinal canal. Okay, and we understood the concept of the our inguinal hernia properly with the proper image based integration. We did this all the things, each muscle we had seen. Fine, so go for our video. Also we compared with the thorax, same arrangement like the abdomen, internal oblique, external oblique, then transverse abdominis, same in the thorax. There is the external intercostal, internal intercostal, then transversus thoracis we had seen. So this is again not our new question pattern. Remember another topic, anterior abdominal wall. Okay, so they ask the question, it is which type of hernia? Femoral hernia, indirect inguinal hernia, direct inguinal hernia, or umbilical hernia? Definitely this hernia, abnormal protrusion of the viscera from one cavity to the other cavity, that is known as the hernia. This hernia is in the inguinal region, so definitely it is inguinal hernia. But now the question mark, it is direct or indirect. So I told you during our classes, just one simple video, just one simple image I am going to draw for all of you. Yes, suppose this is our body. So you will see there is the our pubic tubercle, pubic symphysis, pubic crest, and here is the anterior superior iliac spine. Fine, suppose this is our thigh. You will see there is the ligament between the anterior superior iliac spine and the pubic tubercle. Try to understand. This is our anterior superior iliac spine with the sweet name we are saying ascis, and here is our pubic tubercle. Between this pubic tubercle and anterior superior spine, the ligament is inguinal ligament. What is the inguinal? The fold between the lower part of the abdomen and the thigh, that is the inguinal. Now I told you there are the two openings just above our pubic crest. There is a triangular opening, superficial inguinal ring, and at the mid inguinal point, just above the 1.2 centimeter above our mid inguinal point, there is the round opening, oval opening, deep inguinal ring, and there is the one oblique passage between these two inguinal ring, that is oblique canal, that is the inguinal canal. Okay, and for the better understanding, we had drawn here the scrotum where there is the location of testis. So sometimes what happens? Yes, go for the videos. I told you that intestinal canal, if they are coming through the deep inguinal ring, passing through the inguinal passage, inguinal canal, then coming through the our superficial inguinal ring and reaching into the scrotum. This is crossing throughout the pathway. So this is our indirect inguinal hernia. It is passing with our spermatic cord passage, indirect inguinal hernia. But sometimes the intestinal content, they are breaking all the layers of the abdomen and directly coming through the superficial inguinal ring into the scrotum. This is our direct inguinal hernia. So what I want to mention you, yes, this is our deep inguinal ring. Here is our superficial inguinal ring. This red color projection is showing indirect inguinal hernia, and here is our direct inguinal hernia. And during our classes, many time I told you with proper surgery integration, what are the differences between the direct and indirect inguinal hernia. Okay. And in this question, it is saying that hernia is coming through the spermatic cord pathway. So definitely answer is indirect inguinal hernia. So answer is indirect inguinal hernia. So get ready for the next FMG pattern. Your question is one topic, anterior abdominal wall, as well as you can say hernia. So now we are going to talk about the important question answer discussion as well as analysis from our head neck portion. You can see what is shown in the arrow given in the cross section. Fine. Try to understand. Few years back, they given such kind of the image and they marked arrow here. Yes, the muscles of the tongue, they given the arrow, not exactly at this part, they given the arrow in between the genial tubercle and the tongue here. And answer was genioglossus. Same cadaveric images was given, okay? And few years back, again, they put one question. What was that? Yes, they asked about the safety muscle of tongue. This was another question. 2019, then 20, and then this is the 21. Always they are asking this question pattern. So again, add this topic in your list. Here, they not given the arrow over the genioglossus, but they put the option. So few students, they get confused. They got the confusion that it is the genioglossus. So try to understand, if arrow was here, then genioglossus. But if arrow is showing at this point, then what is your answer? Now try to understand. Definitely this structure is our tongue. Whenever any difficult image, cadaveric images is coming, so try to focus very silly point. Whatever the point you can catch, first hold that point. Sir, we are not aware about the cadaveric image. Don't worry. Which is most easy? Can you see? This is our frontal part and this is our nose, and yes, then it is our mouth. Okay, sir, we can identify only the nose. Okay, fine. Hold the nose. Now try to understand. From this silly point, we are starting our thing. If this is the nose, then you can say this is the oral cavity. So this is our nasal cavity. You know, the partition between the oral cavity and the nasal cavity, that is palate. So definitely this partition is our palate. The anterior part is the hard, bony, but the posterior part is soft, muscular. So this is our soft palate. Okay. Now see here, if this is the soft palate, then oral cavity is communicating with our esophagus. Okay, sir. So oral cavity is communicating with the esophagus. But now the problem is here that it is one tube and here is another one tube. So which is the esophagus and which is the trachea? Try to remember. I always told you one simple trick also, that you have to remember the VOT, vote. Okay. फाइन VOT. नेता लोग कहते हैं तुम मुझे वोट दो मैं तुम्हें धोखा दूंगा. Okay, so in the funny way you can remember, whenever you are looking the section of the neck or the body or the thorax region, the most posterior structure is V for vertebra, and easily you can get, because there is the our segmented structure. These are nothing, these are vertebra. Okay, sir. In front of the vertebra, always remember there is the our esophagus. And remember, esophagus is the food cavity which is collapse. This is the esophagus. This black color line is the esophagus. It is collapse. When the food get enters, then it dilates and contracts, shows peristalsis and push the food. And in front of the esophagus, you can remember, yes, this is trachea. So never get confusion that which is the esophagus, which is the trachea. Remember always ट्रैकिया इज इन फ्रंट, इसोफिगस इज बिहाइंड. और वैसे भी गला दबा के जब मारते हैं तो हमें ट्रैकिया को बंद करना होता है इन अ फनी वे. ओके, तो जब कोई किसी का गला दबा के मार रहा है तो वो ट्रैकिया को बंद कर रहा है, मींस ट्रैकिया इज इन फ्रंट. सो वन कॉमन सेंस यू हैव टू यूज. ओके, नाउ we know the upper part of the trachea is known as the larynx. So definitely this area is our larynx. And upper part of the esophagus from the base of the skull, that portion is known as pharynx. So from the base of the skull up to the upper part of the esophagus, this entire portion is our pharynx. Getting the point? Fine. Now try to understand. Okay, sir, we are agree that it is the larynx. Now in the larynx you can see the leaf like structure. पत्ती की तरह, टेनिस रैकेट की तरह स्ट्रक्चर होता है. दैट इज नथिंग, दैट इज अबव द ग्लॉटिस. दैट्स व्हाई इट इज आवर एपिग्लॉटिस. फाइन. Also there is a most prominent area due to the our thyroid cartilage, Adam's apple, and you can see this part, the vocal fold. Yes, above one is our false vocal fold and below is our true vocal fold. So two margin you can see, this is the vestibule area. False and true, two vocal folds are visible. But right now this is sufficient description. You have to remember what is shown. So not the genioglossus, they are marking over the epiglottis. And yes, follow the image, whatever they ask. If they are asking this point, then epiglottis. If they are asking here, then you will say genioglossus. Okay, genian tubercle to the tongue. Fine. So care for each point what they are asking. Now this again you can add in the knowledge, this larynx, pharynx. Okay, cadaveric image of the brain portion, they all are important. One question is going to ask in FMG 2022. Fine. Now we are looking for the December FMG 2021 another question. Identify the marked dermatome. Yes, dermatome is important topic for your medicine, for your surgery, for any clinical, for your ortho. So anatomy portion is also important. So they ask about the dermatome of the foot. Do you remember? I told you one thing, forget everything, but one point I told you for the foot, this lateral border of the sole is supplied by the S1 and the name of the nerve is sural nerve. So never forget this one. Yes. Now I told you how to remember the dermatome. The simple counting you have to do. What I told you in classes many time, I told that C1 no dermatome. Yes. Then C2 angle of the our mandible. Okay, and now recall. Yes, first of all, what is a dermatome? Derma plus tome. Just one brief. Derma means skin, tome means cut section. So there is a one section of the skin which is supplied by single spinal nerve. So this unit is dermatome. Segment of the skin which is supplied by single spinal nerve is known as the dermatome. Okay, and these are overlapping in nature. That's why there is a too much problem, because no clear cut demarcation is there. Now different skin segment, they are supplied with different nerves. What is the way? C1 first no dermatome, C2 angle of the mandible, then keep the three hands 1 2 and 3 above the supraclavicular area. So I told you, yes, in the classes 1 2 and 3. So you can remember the C2 and then our C3, C4 and C5. And with proper integration to the surgery, I told you the point about the Ehlers sign. Why the pain of the diaphragm, why the pain of the spleen on the left side, it is felt over this part. Phrenic nerve is also having the 3 root values C3, C4, 5. And I told you phrenic nerve is very important topic. 3, 4, 5 keeps diaphragm alive. That is our funny way which you can remember. Okay, and then just you have to make the simple counting. There is our C5. Then you can see that these all are extending here. Further, thumb is having the C5, and here you can see the C6, and then this is our C7, and you can see the medial border of the hand that is supplied by the T1. This is the image from our net sources. Okay, there may be the plus and minus, and remember the dermatomes, they are overlapping in nature. So just to try to focus the point. The image may be plus and minus, but focus over this. The nerve which is supplying our upper limb as well as costal region, that is our T2, that is known as the intercostobrachial nerve. MCQ. This T1 is also MCQ. Why? Because the referred plane of the heart, it radiates along this T1, ulnar border of the left hand. Okay. Now nipple, you will see it is near our T4. So this is our precordium area. This is the entire precordium area. The pain of the heart is supplied by T1 to T5, and exactly the T1, it is along the ulnar border of our forearm, arm, T2 intercostobrachial nerve, then T3, T4, T5, that is over the chest area. That's why in case of the heart attack, in case of the angina, the pain radiates along the ulnar border of the forearm, arm, and over the precordium, as well as the development of the heart, it starts from the our neck region near the pharyngeal apparatus. That's why pain also felt at the left jaw side. Okay. Now further, remember this umbilicus, very important. It is supplied by the T10. It is the very hit question from the NEET pattern, AIMS pattern, very old question pattern. Dermatome is important, and this inguinal area is supplied by the L1. Now you can see, give the number. Just you are giving all the numbers. Fine. So there is a T10, there is a T11, then T12, all the numbers. Yes, T4, then T5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 is here. So just numbering you have to do, and important points you have to remember. Fine. So there is our L2, and then L3, and then L4. Yes, L2, L3, L4, they are our nothing, root value of the femoral nerve. And you can see the L4 root value, it is coming down to our great toe. So remember, great toe is supplied by L4, and then remaining toes, in different textbook you will see the different things. You will see that L4, yes, it is supplying up to the ball of the great toe. These are the different terms, but remaining toes, you can see the next number L5, and last one is S1, then S2, so on, they are going on the back side. So it is very easy. See here again in summary. Otherwise in class we will see. Yes, C1 no dermatome, C2 angle of the mandible, C3, C4, C5. Just to put the hand above the clavicle. C3, C4, C5 supraclavicular region. Kehr sign you have to remember. Then C5 is coming down. Then C6 and then C7. Many variations are there. Okay. Gray's Anatomy is saying different, and our clinical books are saying different. Few are saying the C5, C6, C7. Few are saying yes, C5, C6, and C7. But the T1 ulnar border of our left hand, okay, and then T2 ulnar border of the hand coming to our, yes, ulnar border of the forearm, T1, then ulnar border of the arm, T2, coming to the intercostal region. That's what T2 is known as the intercostobrachial nerve. Then T3, T4, T4 nipple, then T5, T6, T6 at the default process, then T7, T8, T9, T10 at the umbilicus, then T11, T12, go down. L1, that is our inguinal region. T10 umbilical region, L1 our inguinal region. Then L1, L2, yes, L1 inguinal region, then L2, L3, L4 front of the thigh where there is a femoral triangle. Okay. Then L4 is coming down to the great toe. Then L5 next 3. Okay, and then S1 corner of the our foot. Then you will turn back the body. You will see the S2 with the S1 at the ankle region. So there is a tendocalcaneus reflex. Then S3, S4, S5 around our anal canal. That's why there is our anal reflex is related. So go for the dermatome. It is very important topic. Okay, just one story I told you. Otherwise in live session at our app you can see. Yes. Now we are going to talk about our neuroanatomy. What are the different question? Question was spinal cord ends at which level in newborn? This is frequently asked question. No excuse. It is not unexpected question. Okay. And in our differentiation, I told you the ending of the spinal cord. So see here, I told you normally there is our spinal cord. The last terminal cone-like ending is known as the conus medullaris. Fine. And pyometer is firmly attached to our spinal cord. Yes, sir. Fine. Getting the point? So this is our pyometer. Both are ending at L1. Getting the point? With proper reference from the Gray's Anatomy. I am showing you. This is the EMS pattern May 2018 in adult spinal cord level ends. So L2, L3, L4, this all. In our live classes, we discussed that earlier the answer was L1, L2 junction. So few students they marked L1, few students marked L2. Later answer became the lower border of the L1. Okay, but now the correct answer, what is the correct answer, L1 or L2? So go for the lines from the Gray's 41st edition, page number 762 764. Okay, here few lines are written, and I told you in the classes that there are the two anatomists, Suresh and the McDonald. You know, हमारे लाइव क्लासेस में मैंने बताया है कैसे हमें याद करना है, एक फनी वे, याद नहीं करना है सच. यस, सुरेश रमेश, पिताजी की पतलून दो बित्ते और छोटी कर दो, ऐसा एक एड आता है 5 स्टार का, तो वो सुरेश, वो 5 स्टार नहीं खा रहा है, वो क्या खा रहा है, मैकडोनल्ड. ओके, एक फनी वे. सुरेश एंड मैकडोनल्ड दे डिड एक्सपेरिमेंट एंड दे told the different variation. Now in adult, the spinal cord terminates on average at level of middle third of the body of the first lumbar vertebra. Yes, the best answer is the L1 vertebra middle 1/3 portion, not the L2. So this is the story of the adult. Okay, but now after this pyometer, we all are aware there is our arachnoid matter, making a proper space for the CSF, and it is closely related also with our dura mater. So here is the dura mater. Okay, this is the space where the CSF is filled. This is the area where there is a CSF. So where this all are ending, remember these all are ending at the H2. MCQ L1 H2. So you can see the CSF, it is in between this portion. So this is the best site for the lumbar puncture, very important. Okay, and during this lumbar puncture you have to remember it is done at the our L3 L4 vertebra. This all are the MCQ, and this L3 L4 vertebra it is situated at the iliac crest level, another very important MCQ. Fine. So remember, spinal cord is ending at the L1 in adult. Fine, not talking about the newborn. And at the L1, pyometer is also ending. Fine. But if we are talking about the our H2, then you can see there is the ending of the dura mater. There is ending of our arachnoid mater. Also the space below the arachnoid mater, that is the subarachnoid space, it is also ending at the same point. Also below the dura mater space is our subdural space, it is also ending at the same point. You can see these all are ending at the same level. But what is happening with the newborn? I told you the way how you can remember. Yes, adult, spinal cord ending and site of the lumbar puncture. Fine. We had seen in adult the spinal cord is ending at the L1. Earlier answer was the our L1 L2. So lumbar puncture, you have not to damage the spinal cord, so we have to do lumbar puncture below. So what you have to do, just add +1 L2. So after the 2 you will see L3 L4. What you have to remember, 1 2 3 4, easy way. And I told you with the proper embryology integration that in baby spinal cord is more lower position because body is not too much grown, fine. So spinal cord is at more lower level, so you can remember in newborn more lower level. So again you have to add +1. What you will say, the spinal cord, it is ending, here is our L2, so you will say L3, fine. Otherwise L3 L4 is also okay. So where you will do lumbar puncture, just add 1 point. What you will do, yes, you will do L3 then L4 L5. You can focus. Okay, you can see here 4 5. So anyhow you have to remember that this concept in adult and newborn both I told you, fine. You can remember the L1 in adult but L3 in newborn. This is the level where the spinal cord is ending, and site of the lumbar puncture, they are lower. So in adult where you will perform the lumbar puncture, L3 L4, but where you will perform the lumbar puncture in baby, just shift +1 L4 L5 is your answer. So different important facts are here. So this is not the new question, it is expected question. Neuroanatomy part is important, and these all the things you have to focus. Now you can see the another question, December FMG 2021, identify the marked structure. This is the question from the first MBBS. See here, this is our C-shaped cartilage, that is nothing, that is our tracheal ring. And you can see there is the one muscle on the posterior side, you know, the tracheal ring, they are C-shaped. I am showing you with proper three-dimensional orientation. Yes, you can see here the lungs, and here is our trachea. So when you are observing the trachea, turn this trachea. Can you see the C-shaped cartilage, they are not complete, they are lacking here. And one muscle sheet, one sheet is here, the muscle within the trachea, that is a trachealis. So this is nothing, this is our muscle trachealis. Getting the point? This is our trachealis muscle. Why this is important? Integrating with pharmacology, you know, the beta 2 receptor, the agonist of the beta 2 salbutamol, always we read like the salbutamol, bumbuterol, formoterol, these all beta blocker muscles, they are precipitating the asthma. Pharmacology integration, where these all are acting, they are acting over this muscle, they will not act over the cartilage. Yes, beta 2 agonist, they are relaxing this smooth muscle trachealis. So breathing is possible properly even in case of the asthma. Okay, you can see another image. This is our different bones. Yes, you can see the hyoid bone, the posterior view of the larynx, you can see the thyroid cartilage, you can see here our cricoid cartilage, and you can observe the epiglottis. So tracheal ring you can observe, and it is not complete on the back side. So which muscle is posteriorly? These are nothing, there is the presence of our trachealis muscle. When you are making the transverse section of the trachea, you can see the C-shaped cartilage, and on the back side this is our muscle, okay, with the mucosa, submucosa, but this brown color layer is showing the trachealis muscle, fine. So remember this point. Now few students were saying that there was the image of the cadaveric portion, so you can again observe, I told you VOT from back to the front side. Okay, the collapse structure, that is our esophagus. So this is our trachea and vertebra not shown. So you can observe the C-shaped cartilage here, tracheal cartilage. So the muscle on the back side, you can observe, this is our definitely trachealis muscle. Getting the point? Fine. Now come to the our embryology portion. Fine. Here in the embryology, this is our pattern. December FMG 2021. Identify the embryological basis of the congenital defect shown in the image. Fine. And easily you can get here, this baby is not having the cranial vault. So there is the absence. Absence means N. Absence of the cephalic region. So this is our case of the anencephaly, which is the classical example of neural tube defect. And I taught you there are the two tube defect. Okay, what are these two tube defect? Yes, anterior neuropore and posterior neuropore defect. And with the pharmacology integration, with the medicine integration, there are the various anti-epileptic drugs like the phenytoin, like the our valproic acid, many anti-epileptic drugs. They can cause the neural tube defect. Fine. So at that time, I told you the anterior neuropore defect, that is our anencephaly. Posterior neuropore defect, meningocele, meningomyelocele, spina bifida occulta, myeloschiasis, rachis, this all the situation. Fine. And here is the slide from our neuroanatomy classes where we had seen the development of the our CNS. I told you at that time there is our ectoderm, which is thickening and making the neuroectoderm, then making the neural plate-like structure. Then there is a depression, neural groove. Then it is folding and making the tube-like structure. Yes, this is the neural tube. So this neural tube is getting dilatation at the upper part, making the brain vesicle, and then this brain vesicle is making the prosencephalon, mesencephalon, rhomencephalon, while the caudal narrow part, it is making the spinal cord. You can go for our videos, and then these are further dividing into the telencephalon, diencephalon, mesencephalon, metencephalon, myelencephalon. Okay, and different cavities are developing inside it. We had seen. So during this all, yes, also we had seen the our CSF flow. I told you that same thing. There is the formation of neural plate-like structure, then depression, neural groove, then again further more depression, that is our tube-like structure formation, neural tube. So these all the things we had seen, and with the proper imagination within the embryo, I told you, then neural tube defect, I told you, there is our anterior neuropore and the posterior neuropore. Anterior neuropore, it is closing on the 25th day, while the posterior neuropore, it closes on the our 28th day. This closing of the neuropore, this complete formation of the neural tube is known as neurulation or neuralization. If there is a problem, then there is our neural tube defect. And with proper integration with our ops gynae, yes, folic acid is very important. And if it is not properly given to the pregnant lady, then this our neural tube cannot properly synthesize, cannot properly form, and there is a neural tube defect. So these all the points we had seen. That's why it is leading to the different kind of the abnormalities in central nervous system. We had seen this all, like spina bifida occulta, like the meningocele, meningomyelocele. This all the clinical integration with the neurosurgery we had seen. Myeloschiasis, rachis. Fine. This is very, very important with the ops gynae, pedia, medicine, surgery. This all are the topics which is integrating with this all. Fine. We talked about this all. Our points: normal spine, there is our hair tuft like bunch, spina bifida, then meningocele, then meningomyelocele. Okay, and we drawn all the images for it. I told you at that time this topic is not only important for the anatomy, but it is very, very important for the our neurosurgery, for the medicine, for the ops gynae pedia. So this question already we discussed. Yes, it is nothing. It is our anterior neuropore defect. Fine. Case of the anencephaly, presenting the child with the loss of absence of the cranial vault, exophthalmos is there, and chin is resting over the thorax. Fine. Now, further, you can see another embryology question. Newborn baby meconium was coming from the umbilicus. One baby came where you can see, in which you can see the discharge from the umbilicus. Meconium was coming. due to the abnormal persistence of which of the following structure: urachus, or the allantois, or the vitreous, or the mesonephric duct? What is your answer? Do you remember in just FMG 2020? It is again repeated topic, you can say, congenital anomaly. They ask about the our urachal fistula. Go for our previous video, previous question answer discussion. I told you this all the points. Okay, so this question was asked. Now try to understand. This was the case of the urachal fistula which we discussed in our previous class. One baby is coming who is presenting with the urine drops from the umbilicus, because the urinary bladder urachus is getting open here and it is patent. But here the fecal material meconium is coming, means GIT tube is opening at the umbilicus. Getting the point? So this was our previous year question. Okay, but right now try to understand. Yes, I told you in classes, umbilicus, it is the common site for the opening of the three system. Umbilicus is attached with the cardiovascular system, placenta. Umbilicus is attached with our GIT through the vitreointestinal duct, and it is attached with our excretory system, urinary bladder, through the urachus. So umbilicus is very important. It is the site for the physiological hernia. Okay, when this urachus remains patent, normally it should be obliterated, but when it remains patent, in that situation urine will come from the umbilicus, that will lead to the urachal fistula. But when the vitreointestinal duct it is remaining patent, then you will see there is the meconium discharge, not the urine but the fecal material meconium will get discharged. That is nothing, that is our fecal fistula. In our previous sessions I told you that suppose this is any abnormal pathway, normally it is obliterating, so this is our normal. If one end is persisting, another is obliterating, then it is our sinus. When both the ends are obliterating but middle portion is persisting, then it is known as cyst. When you will see that complete portion is persisting, then it is known as fistula. Okay, so here the patient is coming. Try to understand again. In this scenario, suppose this is the entry abdominal wall, this is the umbilicus, and here is our GIT tube. Diagrammatic presentation I am doing. Yes, so this is GIT tube, here is umbilicus, and this tube is nothing, this is our vitreointestinal duct. Normally it is getting obliterated, but if it is persisting, in that situation the fecal material, the first fecal material of the baby, meconium, it can come outside through the umbilicus. So this is our persistent vitreointestinal duct. Nothing this situation in baby after birth, that is our fecal fistula. It is normal in every embryo, but after birth if it is persisting, then it is a fecal fistula. Okay, so answer in this question is not the vitreointestinal duct, not the our urachus, but the answer is vitreointestinal duct. Previous year the answer was the urachal fistula, similar kind of the question, but there was the urine outflow, but this time meconium is getting outflow. So this is not the unexpected question, it was the expected question. You can say this is the question from the urosurgery, gastrosurgery portion. Fine, so definitely answer is vitreointestinal duct. And don't forget the rules of 2 for our Meckel's diverticula. Why I am mentioning this is very important again, because Meckel's diverticula, it is nothing, it is persistent vitreointestinal duct. Okay, more detail you will see in our surgery classes, but this Meckel's diverticula, it follows the rule of 2. Very important. 2% of the population, among the 100 people you will see the 2 cases. Male female ratio, it is 2 times higher in the male. 2 feet from the ileocecal junction. So this is the ileocecal junction, it is 2 feet proximal and 2 inches in length. You can see this is our GIT, and Meckel's diverticula is 2 inches in length. 2% people only develops the different complication. Okay, and generally the complication you will get before the 2-year age. And there are the two types of the hypertrophic mucosa. This mucosa diverticula. Here you will get the stomach tissue. So there is the HCl secretion. So there is a burning sensation, or the pancreatic tissue also you will get. So these are the points integrating with our surgery. Now, questions from the histology. Again, see here, histo and embryo, they are not too much important, but few points you have to focus. Question was very simple. Which of the following is epithelium seen in the fallopian tube? We know very well. Yes, there is the ovary showing the ovulation. With the our movement of the fimbria, negative pressure is created and ovum is entering within the fallopian tube. And now the fallopian tube should have such kind of epithelium so that this ovum has facility to move for the uterine cavity. For that purpose, definitely cilia must be present. And there are the secretion, and secretion are done by the columnar epithelium. So you can see that there is our columnar epithelium, beautifully you can observe, which are having the single nucleus. Yes, and you can see the fine cilia here. So this is our answer. Yes, ciliated simple columnar, simple logic is here. Fine. Now see here another question. Identify marked structure. So this question was asked. Use your common sense. This is integration with your physiology and obs-gynae also. Different phases of the follicle were given, and they asked primordial follicle, primary follicle, pre-enter follicle, enter follicle. It is very simple question. Even since school time we are reading. Primordial follicle, there is our oocyte lined by our squamous epithelium. Primary follicle, ovum and lined by our, yes, columnar epithelium. Pre-enter follicle, there is the ovum and small cavities are formed. And yes, many follicles has been developed. Enter follicle, in which you will see the large cavity. Enter means cavity. Okay, and remaining other follicles here and there. Okay, so that is our enter follicle. Yes, you can see here the cavity has been developed. That's why this is our antral follicle. For the better knowledge, you can go with this flow chart. Yes, you can see the oocyte, primordial, lined with the our simple squamous epithelium. Activated primordial cell. Now the follicles, they are proliferating. Primary follicle, yes, you are looking that this is the diagrammatic presentation. Columnar epithelium they are developing, and then secondary follicles, these all are developing. And now there is a development of the small cavity, but complete single cavity is not there, multiple cavities. So this is our pre-entral phase or early entral, and later one single large cavity is formed. This is our enter phase. Okay, so students, we are saying that single cavity was shown, that's why entral follicle you have to go. Fine. So these are our different questions. So thank you very much. And at the last, what we are expecting on the basis of the previous and this year question pattern in our FMG 2022 expected topics, we are doing analysis. Yes, only on the basis of these questions. I'm not talking about the previous 10-year or 5-year question bank pattern. Okay, and it is just one guessing. I'm not sure that same question will be asked, but smart study is important part of our study. So we are just guessing. What you can remember, that question from the general anatomy is going to ask, and very important topic, that is joint. So never miss the question from the joint. Other question may be asked, but this one. Then upper limb, lower limb, we have to see for the thorax, we have to see for the head neck face, we have to see for the neuro anat, we have to see for the abdomen as well as pelvis. Also you have to add for the embryo and histo. So generally not one question, definitely you have to see the joint, but muscles, yes, our question topic about the bones, sesamoid bone, pneumatic bone, they are also asked. But on the base of this discussion, joint is important. Upper limb, no excuse with the mass of the upper limb, no excuse with the short intrinsic muscles of hand. I'm not talking about the other topics. In our live class, we will see. But yes, two questions from the FMG recent question pattern. This topic you must remember. Lower limb, yes, palpable arteries. You must know. Fine. Thorax. From the thorax, you have to study about the hour. Definitely. In this question pattern, coronary circulation was not asked, but that was very important. But right now, there was the question from the trachea as well as esophagus. Why I'm telling you the esophagus? Because they are very close, and esophageal constriction maybe not asked in anatomy, but they can ask in your ENT, in medicine and surgery, due to the different constriction. HNF, remember the section. Also the trachea, esophagus, yes, better to say larynx, pharynx. Fine. Neuroanat, definitely section of brain. Cranial nerves, they not ask right now in this question, but yes, they are important. And no excuse with the spinal cord ending according to the recent pattern. Fine. Abdomen, entry abdominal wall, and pelvis. This time question was focused for the, you can say, female genital tract, because they ask about the even the epithelium. Okay, that's why you have to talk about this. Embryology, you can see the, for the general embryo, the interface, pre-interface, corpus luteum, corpus hemorrhagicum, antrum, this all you will see in your physiology portion also. Okay, so one question may be asked from the general embryology, and another one, they are our congenital deformity related with the CNS development, meningocele, meningomyelocele, neural tube defect. Neural tube defect was asked. Also the GIT abnormality, yes, fistula, yes, fecal fistula this time, and urachal fistula related with the clinical. Yes, you cannot say that it is exactly the question from the anatomy. These are mixed with our surgery also. Fine. Histology, question was asked from the epithelium. So these are our expected question for the next time. Very high chances. The 50% topics definitely they will get repeated. And go for our previous 10-year question bank. Go for the previous 5-year question bank. 80% of the topic you can guess, and you can do smart study, and you can crack your exams. And remember this, all the things you have to do for all the subject. Handling for the all the 19 subject, not 100%, but do smart study, then you will get one all-rounder performance, and you will crack your FMG exams surely. So hope you all like this video, and if you are liking, please like, share, subscribe our platform, as well as any kind of the comment, any kind of the modification in the question answer, you can comment at the box. You can directly contact with our platform. Thank you very much. All the best. Follow us at all the social media site. Thank you. God bless you all.